So when should I do femto? How many of you have access to femto? One. Maybe I have a private tutorial. Okay. I think, there's a lot of debate what's the benefit of doing femto, and so far I think this big paper, right, reviewing 15 randomized controlled trials and 2 observational cohort studies, actually found that visual and refractive outcomes were similar between manual and femto, but femto reduced the effective phaco time, the loss of endothelial cell count, and also reduced the corneal swelling up to perhaps 1 month. Okay. There were higher rates of prostaglandin, and in these early days, PCR rates were also higher with femto. So it doesn't sound very promising, but the only thing that's certain, all right, was that it did do something for the cornea. So I think in everyday kind of case that we've been dealing with thus far, it's debatable whether that femto has a real benefit or not. But I think the true value of femto really is more evident in the management of complex cases. So let's have a look at black cataracts. Ron, will you pre-chop these?
No.
No?
I think it is a difficult technique to pre-chop until you get very proficient to do it.
Then what do you do with these?
Oh, I use FLACS for these.
Okay. So he's rich.
Not as rich as you use.
This is black as this nevus here, okay, on the conjunctiva. So I don't like to use FLACS for incisions. I like to use it for the capsulotomy. You can get precise size. You can get it well centered, so if you want a bigger size, you can get that because you're dealing with a hard, big nucleus. But I still do a capsulotomy that's standard 5 mm for all my cases. And you can choose whichever kind of segmentation pattern, but generally the harder you want to fragment the smaller segments. So in this case here, I have done 16 segments. So 16 segments basically when you land your chopper into the nucleus, it will just find a crevice. And as was discussed earlier, actually it's adherent in the peripheral part of the equator. It's not separated there because it can't cut through the iris. And it's also adherent just next to the posterior capsule. Okay, so for these, you really want to increase all the energy and you want to segment as widely as possible and as posteriorly as possible. And then when you get out the first segment, alright, then it gets easy. But really you still need to understand phaco-dynamics, and you need to know how to set your phaco machine such that you can impale, because you still need to impale into the nucleus and then to separate. So you don't do any in situ sculpting, you don't do all that troughing, you just do impaling, separation, and then once you get the first piece released, then the rest is really quite straightforward. And really you can see at the end of this, the patient can see really very well the next day. So black cataracts is when I would definitely recommend the femto. How about intumescent lenses? Okay, let's have a look at this. This is really intumescent, it's swollen, alright? And if you look at it carefully, you see clefts of fluid just under the capsule. So let's see what happens with the femto. Just watch. Did you see the explosion? Alright, I'm going to show that to you again. And now I want you to watch this other side. Okay? When the femto hits, can you see the explosion? So this was really a very, very swollen lens. It's still important to respect the swollen lens, running mannitol pre-op. Okay, so that's what we do for all these patients, to try to dehydrate the nucleus, shrink the vitreous so that there's less positive pressure on this lens. And then, whether it's necessary to do the nuclear fragmentation or just doing the capsule, I leave it to you, but I like to do both. Alright, and you'll be surprised that sometimes when the nucleus is a little brown, this femto can still cut through, although it doesn't pass through anything that's not translucent. So you see here that sometimes it is incomplete and we still have to stain the anterior capsule to make sure that we can see that there are no tags left. Right? So the problem is that if you have incomplete cuts, you may have a tag, irregular area that's cut that may actually run out. And you'll see here that I did apply the fragmentation because it's slightly brown. It has actually fragmented the nucleus, and it does make the surgery so much easier. Now, even if it is incomplete, I've never seen an Argentinian FLACS sign with an intumescent lens. Okay, so none in the cases that I published, none actually had a rip-out at the outstart. Sometimes incomplete, but you can always round it off, so it makes surgery so much safer. Let's have a look at this, and I challenge anyone who can do a manual technique better. Okay, this is getting more Morganian. This is a Down syndrome patient. Look at the fibrosis. I alluded to this earlier. When you examine even a white cataract, you may see all this fibrosis here. But the femto has cut on the anterior capsule and left this behind. Okay, if you started to tear, you probably tried to tear through this, and you would never have a beautiful capsule opening like this. Okay, so I challenge any of you to do better than the femto. Yes, Ron?
I agree.
Okay, good. How about this? Okay, we see shallow anterior chambers in oriental eyes. Look at this chamber. It's super shallow, right? I would be scared to do a rexis here because I don't know. You know, with this curved, convex forward surface of the lens, it would tend to run out, right? And it would be very difficult to keep the viscoelastic in the anterior chamber to try and flatten this so that you can control the rexis. Okay, let's see what happens. It looked funny in the front, and I was wondering why it looked so opacified, but we still went ahead. See how thick this lens is? Look, just how thick. Okay, but the femtos, it just cuts through the anterior capsule like nothing, right? It's the same. You can see this being cut now, right? Again, 16 segments. Ooh, look, all the gas being produced, you get really frightened. Look at all the frothing. Okay, this is with the Victus, and so the Victus actually shows you real time exactly as it is being cut. So I'm going to try, and you know, there's some gas bubble as well. The more cuts, more energy put in, more gas bubble, more distension, shallower anterior chamber, so you stay in the capsule to make sure it's complete. And it's so shallow, I'm not going to be able to continue. Okay, so I decided put trocar cannula into the clasp planar. Now, when you do this, you are really scared. You know how thick that lens was, right? So I have to go towards optic nerve, and I'm just taking out some pictures, feeling the eye, making sure that it is not taken out too much, unless you have a very soft eye. And now the chamber is deepened, and I can do everything so simply. But I already know in this case, because I've done the UBM, I told you all the advanced cataracts, I always do a UBM because it's often accompanied by zonal weakness. So I straight away put out my capsule bag hooks that support the equator of the lens, and then I continue. Now look, because I know exactly what I'm going to deal with, all the potential complications, I preempt all the possible problems, and this then becomes a routine case. Right? The chamber is now deeper. I don't worry about phagoing the hard nucleus because there's enough space. Now if I did this, right, in a shallow chamber, I'll be really afraid. Now, there's some misdirection on this DSS, and it's going to the back behind the lens back because I'm not putting in a CTR at the outstart. Okay, because there's really little space in this case. So I'm doing it now, but I know fluid is coming up and the chamber is shallowing, and I can't complete the surgery safely. Okay, you'll see that I give up. There's some cortex left there. So there's fluid gone behind the posterior capsule. I'm going in, I've left the trocar cannula here, so useful. I just take out a bit more fluid, you can see it now. When I did it the first time, it was all blind. The lens is in place, I will not catch the PC. Now I remove the rest of the cortex, so now the chamber is nice and deep. Alright, and so you can actually manage such a case like this very well, very, very safely. Alright, this patient had in fact angle-closure glaucoma, but really you can save the cornea by doing femto and then using a little more complex technique to handle this case. Let me show you this case. Who would like to volunteer to be the surgeon? Posterior polar cataract, right? Huge! Okay, 4.5 mm. I told the patient, sure to break, I hope not to drop, but just be prepared. 2 surgeons may come in, surgery may take 1.5 hours because you're a really hard cataract. If I drop your nucleus, the retinal surgeon will curse me. Okay, so femto. Okay, so you can see this is a posterior polar. It's got this weird appearance at the back here. Okay, it's a bit loosened in the center there. And then I bring him to the OR. Put it in a block. Okay, you mustn't be a hero here. It's scary, you know, it's really like a rock. Okay, so I do not put fluid. This all dispersive viscoelastic going into the under the anterior capsule up to the equator, not beyond. Okay, so I just dissect this anterior portion free, not beyond the equator, unless you can break the capsule. I'm going to trough in this case. This is a posterior polar. This is the only kind of case that I really believe should be troughed. Because if you do inside the trough, you can crack right through. Alright? So I've done that before, and I don't want to do that again, especially with this hard nucleus. So that trough is just to create some space for me to put my phaco needle in there to chop against. Alright, so now this has had treatment with 2 rings and 8 segments. So now I'm just going to pull out the pieces because they've been pre-cut and they're just adherent. And the periphery and posteriorly, but I'm not going into that plane because I'm going to just remove it within the cut nucleus, alright? So I'm leaving the epinucleus still intact, right? The part that's not been pre-cut by the femto, and I'm just taking out what is within that has been cut. So I disassemble the nucleus in this manner. I have no rotation, just note that, very important, no rotation. Alright, so I've got this epinuclear plate that has been actually a plate created by the femto, second laser, and the bubble formation. Now, I'm going to look at what's beneath. Right, scary. Ooh, epinuclear plate coming out. So far, nothing's happening, right? Hey presto. Ron, can you do that? Wait,
excuse me. I was talking about normal cataracts. For polar, I didn't say I don't do FLACS at all. For these cases, I always do FLACS. I absolutely agree. But I'm just saying for normal cataracts, I don't think I would do FLACS.
Okay, good. We agree. Okay, so this case I managed to get away, without problems. How about a case like this? This is a really cute case. Look at this. This is where the catalyst. Look at this, so cute. Small, look at it, pretty deep, This was going down. And it's totally decentered, so I'm scanning the capsular bag. And I have to downsize it because the lens itself is smaller. The zonules have been missing for some time now. They're so stretched that the bag did not really expand fully during the development. So it's a small little cute lens. And all I need is capsulotomy, right? So it's done. Okay, now we bring the patient to surgery. It's under local anesthetic, the block is put in. And it can be really sticky, right? So make sure that it's complete, because sometimes these lenses can move a little during the femto and it may not be complete. Alright? So you can see this lens is so globular, even though this is a proven Marfan syndrome. Okay? So important, first of all, bring the lens to anatomical position. Right? So once I've got the capsular rexis, and this rexis was smaller, right? It was 4 mm because the lens is small. Bring to the anatomical position using capsule bag hooks. I create a plane just under the anterior capsule and insert this ring. You see why I'm not supporting here? Because it was an area that I was uncertain whether it was complete, and I didn't want the ring to rip the rexis. So that's why I didn't put the support, which I otherwise would normally put. And then once you've got everything in there, okay, I set the SQ. You wonder why I put this hook here, okay? When we talk about LIDRS tomorrow, it's actually to prevent LIDRS. Okay? We will hear more about LIDRS tomorrow. So it breaks the contact between the iris and the anterior capsule, so the lens does not get pushed posteriorly. Now I must quickly put this lens in, because this is a 4 mm capsulotomy and it can get caught inside. And I need 2 instruments to rotate this lens, because the lens is actually meant for a normal size capsular bag, 10 mm, but this is a small bag. And then I'm going to rotate in such a way that it fits into the astigmatism axis. You can see this patient's toric. I place my marks there. I'm really ambitious. And then I'm going to support the entire complex. Right? I'm using complex 7O. It's called CV8. Right? This is a suture snare technique which I use to bring the suture and to the Hoffman pocket here, the scleral fixation point, 1.75 mm posterior to the surgical limbus. This is a 26 gauge needle that will be pre-threaded with a segment of the cortex, which is really, very long. The reason why we do all this is because the needle is not meant for ophthalmic use. In fact, cortex is off-label use for the eye. So this is another capsular tension segment I need to support completely. In fact, with a small opening of the capsule, it can be challenging even getting these segments in. Alright? Needs a bit of manipulation, that's why I like to leave the hooks there to keep the bag open. Because once you expand the equator, the whole bag shuts in these very, very young patients. So this is just a snare, a loop that I use to bring or lasso this free end alright, of the suture that has been pre-threaded onto the capsular tension segment island. It's threaded through, and this acts as a lasso to draw it out at the scleral fixation point. There's a upper pocket intrascleral dissection has been created there, and we then retrieve the sutures from within the pocket, right? And we do it on the other side now, and this is the important part where you actually adjust the tension, okay, on both sides to center the IOL, because your retinas may not be perfectly centered, right? Once the IOL is centered, you've got the nice axis, correct position, then you finalize this, and this is done with a 2-1-1 knot, so that you don't have a huge knot here that can erode through. Okay, so just double check the axis, and then finally we're happy with this patient's outcome. So in conclusion, a variety of complex cataracts can be more easily and more safely managed with femtosecond laser than with nano means, and these are some of the cases that I've enjoyed doing with the laser and had success. Thank you.